No, I can't. What's up, world? Let's see how many people get to hop on. This notification get popped up. No, no, all right. Hope everyone is having a great Thursday, December 8th. Hello. I just figured I'd randomly get on here, see who's available, what positive news they got to share, what's going on with the world, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning into the stream, Lady Kinsey. I think that's what your name is. How's your morning going? A little tired. Be having breakfast soon. Hope everybody had a. What time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock here. I've been up since what 1, 2. Also, let me know in the comments some new tracks to react to. I'm always looking forward to new music and expanding my horizons. Think about doing a few Boys to Men. Got to get back to some Whit Lowry. Lowry, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I got some other things I'm working on too. I got some more nerdy videos, more nerd content coming. I'm just not obsessed with consciousness, but I'm always trying to better myself, become a better person, learn more about myself. A lot of people are obsessed with the world. I'm obsessed with me. Not in the negative way, but the better I understand myself, the better I understand the world. I appreciate you. I could truthfully say almost like a year ago, I didn't really know what reaction videos was. I'm super new to this thing, but the world needs something different. We all are new energy. I'm good with Christian rap. I'm good with anything. This reaction channel was more for society than it is for myself. Just because I'm just trying to show that we all can step into different boxes in different rooms and be comfortable and laugh and smile. You know, like when you go somewhere new and you don't know anybody, so it's awkward, and then somebody say something comfortable, you're like, finally, and then you could start the conversation and all that. That's what. Even though this is virtual, I just want people to see that there's still some humans in the world because the human aspect is dead due to technology. I say it sucks to be a kid right now. They got thousands and millions of friends online and don't have one person in real life that they can really talk to. And I'm just trying to be that real person in everybody's life, whether we meet one day or not. Yeah, I. It's almost funny to me because I'm in a bubble. I don't have any negativity around me. I understand that the way I conduct myself affects my children and my wife. And outside of that, life is too short to be angry, man. I couldn't imagine walking around mad every day. Like when I was a kid, you grow up in urban environments and you consume negative energy. And my mother and father had crazy domestic violence when I was a child. So I felt like I always was walking on eggshells just so I didn't upset my mom or upset my dad. And I was like the little happy kid. So when they was tripping out, I would try to be the mediator. But it's almost like nuts. I mean, remember you used to watch TV and the commercials would come on like, what would Jesus do and stuff like that? And now, just, yeah, I think negativity has a good hold on you. Oh, it's cool. I don't trip when you misspell the name. I always tell my children when you mad or when you sad, you can't think straight. Your brain shuts down. And I know the world purposely wants everyone's brain shut down so it could just take advantage of you. I appreciate you for supporting the channel. 100%, man. I am you and you are me to the end. Everything you see me do, everything you see me say, I promise it's available for every human. We all are great. But most of us never hear that we great. We never hear that we can overcome our challenges or face obstacles. So you succumb to your environment. And I still question how I've been able to rise out of my environment. But now that I done made it out, I'm pulling up as many people as I can. Because no matter where you come from, dog, you can make it out. And right now, whether it's the passport bros or women don't need men, it just all these things are all broken people, dog. And when you can see through that, it's comical. So I'm just trying to let people know, man, be yourself. Stop putting up that fake mask of what's going on. Yeah, man, the music is like this is like a backdoor cheat code because when I started this, I wasn't even really gonna do a lot of the music that I grew up listening to, but my brain was like, how impactful would it be to listen to an entire negative rap song and hear like some positivity in the middle of it? It would catch you off guard. And then when I had subs start throwing me the country and the rap and the rock, man, look here. I didn't learned about more music than I ever could have imagined. That's why I look at the inner city as a trap because you're stuck. And it's unfortunate that mainstream throws rap everywhere. Like I don't like the fact if my kids want to play Madden, they gotta hear the newest rap songs. If they want to play 2K, they gotta hear the newest rap songs. Because your subconscious mind is always listening, whether you know it or not. And what you putting into your head could manifest into your reality. And I didn't know that when I was younger at all. But I've been studying Dr. Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Earl Nightingale, Eric Butterworth is somebody new that I've been checking out a lot of his content. And when our brains are extremely like valuable. And so I did all this with like trying to understand my mind and my subconscious mind. And then I went back and listened to Trey songs. And I said, that's why I was acting so reckless when I was a kid. That's why that's why I got so many children now. Because I unconsciously listened to Trey songs every single day. And he manifested a bunch of crazy situations into my life that I don't regret them because I've learned a lot of wisdom. But man, I wouldn't go back and do those same things again. I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. Shannon been around since I was a newbie in this. What I have less than 1,000 subscribers, I think, when you came around. It was something real new. Man, every single subscriber is important because we all need love in this world. We all need to feel like we great. And like when you a kid and you fall and you got that one teacher, that one coach that help you and get back up, it motivate the hell out of you. Yeah, I did see your comment about ASAP Preach. My bad. I'm gonna check that out. Is that the now? I don't excuse my ignorance. ASAP like Preach, is that the rapper? Like I know ASAP Rocky, but is the track called Preach? Just let me know. But I'll check it out for sure. The only Preach track I know is by Young Dolph. Rest in peace, Flipper. Yeah, no, you real both of y'all been here since the beginning watching me thug it out and learning as I grow. I never recorded a video before I started this channel. Never made a thumbnail. I play basketball and chill. I don't even talk really. Like as much as I'm a public person, I'm super introverted. I just sit back and read the room and stay to myself. I'm a thinker. But like I said, my grandma used to always say, "Don't die with your music inside of you, little Johnny." And I didn't know what that meant. But now I'm like, oh, grandma, I done figured out what that throat chakra is and all that. And I'm able to use my voice. Crazy story, true. When I probably was like 7, me and my mama was on the metro stop just having a conversation. And some lady was listening to us talk. And she said, "Little boy, you're going to be a preacher one day." And I'm going to be no dang preacher, cuz. And now I'm grown up. I don't look at myself as a preacher, but I definitely look at myself as a person who I've went through the worst situations, and I can tell you that it's not as bad as it seems. Whether that's, growing up in poverty or my kids dying or my mama overdosing. It's almost like the best thing that could happen to you is have a hard life. Like I was talking to my homeboy this morning, and I was telling him about my dead children. And he's like, "Bro, I'm sorry to hear that." And I was like, I don't like the fact that when I say I have dead kids, the first thing people say is, "I'm sorry to hear that," because that's my superpower. I've had to look at a baby casket and see my face. The average person, y'all don't know what y'all would do if y'all lost y'all mama or your daddy or your son or your daughter. I've been through that. And it gives me a different type of assurance. in life, but also a different type of belief in God that I can't make anybody else feel. Because there's things that you see in the physical world, but spiritually, when you know it, you know it. And when my first son died, I didn't wake up at all. I was 18. I didn't really care that much. I cared because I was sad. You stay blessed as well. We'll be in touch soon. But when my second son died, that one kind of put a little pause in my life. And when my mama overdosed, it kind of just, I fell apart as a human. And now to be back who I am together, physically fit, in shape, super sober, it's like, oh man, the whole world could reach this level of bliss, of happiness, of joy. You don't need alcohol. You don't need anything to alter your mind. You just got to sit with it and become the best version of you. And it's a lot of kids who don't know that. Like working at a private school, man, when you see third grade kids getting put on pills, fifth grade kids getting put on pills, it's like, man, what is going on with our society? No one teaches health, wealth. They want to over medicate you so you stay in your place. And I don't know who I would have been if I would have had a positive person in my life. However, because I didn't have positive person, I got to make my mistakes and become who I am and be this light to the world. Because so many people are judged for their situations, whether it's somebody who's suicidal or somebody who's committed homicide or been in and out of jail or obese or you struggling. Like everybody struggles in life, but no one acknowledges where the struggle come from. Like we all were just babies that were born, came out with smiling and laughing, and something in our life affected the way we view life. And some people hold on to that hurt and that pushes them to the left, and some people get pushed to the right. And I'm just stepping back and saying, man, just go back to who you are. Like remember in The Lion King when Simba is talking to the sky and he think he sees his daddy and he says, remember who you are. That's all I'm trying to show the world is I'm hoping everybody remember who they are before you start questioning yourself, before you looked around and saw people were watching you. Just fully be yourself. There are no doubts. There are no limits. But the world doesn't want you to know that for whatever reason. And echo chambers and groupthink are really, really big for low self-esteem. And I can say that because I come from an environment where low self-esteem is taught to you. And if you don't rise above that, then definitely, I keep saying the world wants broken adults. Like it wants you as an adult to stay in your place. And the best part is like I respect my elders a lot. Like I remember grandma, yes sir, no ma'am. No elbows on the table. It was a kid's table in the kitchen and an adult's table for holidays. We used to have to stand around and say what we was thankful for. On Christmas, everybody had to stand in a circle and read a Bible verse before we could eat. Like I grew up in that type of family. So I look at the way people conduct themselves in the world. And I'm like, what is going on with y'all? Y'all know y'all grandma and grandpa would not be okay with this behavior. My grandma wouldn't want me covered in tattoos if I'm being truthful. I remember going to her house when I was 14. And I got my hair braided the first time. I thought I was lit. I had them Iverson braids. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. And grandma said, boy, ain't nobody ever going to take you serious with that hair on your head. And at the time, I didn't get what she was talking about. But it makes sense now that every rapper's name starts with little or the baby or little baby. Or the way they carry themselves is very immature. We don't see men really being men and standing on principle and proud to take care of their wife and proud to be a father and, to do the hard work that society needs. And I would be doing a disservice if I didn't be who I am for my father and my grandfather and all the men that came before me. And you look out in the world, and most people, they don't have positive examples. In my first basketball team I played on, out of the 14-man roster, 9 of them are dead, 3 of them in jail, and I'm sitting here talking to y'all. But I was the only one that grew up with a father, so I got to see the importance of family, the importance of structure. I mean, if the street lights was on, I had to be in the house. And they sell this narrative that if you grew up in the inner city, your only choices are to sell drugs or to rob people. And it's like, that's a lie. My daddy went to work every day. Me and my brother was in the house because my mom was like, you can't play with them kids. You can't go to their house. As much as I had really urban ghetto parents, they didn't allow me to be another statistic. And to see that narrative just still pushed 20 years later, it's like embarrassing because I've never been to jail my entire life. My father has probably been to jail over 50 times. My whole childhood, my daddy was in and out of jail. And he said, Johnny, if you don't want to go to jail, don't do stupid stuff. It was that simple. It wasn't no excuses that the police was harassing me because I'm black or none of that. It was my father took supreme accountability for his actions. And I didn't want to go to jail. I have been in a paddy wagon. One time our lights was off. And we used to take an extension cord and run into the neighbor's house next door, and the police had pulled up, and that ain't legal or whatever. But they let me go because they saw our lights was off, and that was all. But even having no lights and no gas and no water, having a mom and a daddy is by far one of the best experiences. Because as a kid, I judged them. But as an adult right now, I understand that they were just people trying to figure this thing out called life. And most of us have resentment towards our parents. You should have did this. You should have done that. You could have been this way. Not understanding they wasn't even trying to have you, cuz. I mean, this is why I say we need truth. My mama used to babysit my daddy's other kids because I got 2 older sisters. So that's how my mom and daddy met. So I'm the product of this weird situation already. My mama used to fight my daddy's other baby mama. And all of that was crazy drama. And I was just a kid in that situation, and now I'm an adult and looking out at the world like, look how many kids got to deal with BS that their parents are doing. You know, you do your children a huge disservice if you don't put them first once you bring them into this world, because they didn't ask to be here. And I became a father at 20, and my daughter changed everything about me. The places I would go, the environments I would hang out with, the people I was around, everything was because I didn't want my baby girl to see her father like that. I graduated high school with 8 gold teeth in my mouth. And now I used to walk through the mall with a double cup of lean. I was just really a product of what society said you should be, because I didn't have power of my mind. I didn't understand consciousness or any of those concepts at the time. And I know a lot of people in the world don't either. However, a lot of people that follow this channel, they wouldn't know me if I didn't speak out and use my voice to show who I really am and what type of person I really am. And it inspires them to step out on faith and become the best version of themselves. Because as a kid, we all have a dream. We all have a goal of something that we want to accomplish or what we want to be. And then somewhere down the line, we lose that for whatever reason. And I'm just trying to say, stay in touch with your inner child. Because if you don't look out for you, who will? Because everything around you will leave one day. The only thing that's consistent in life is change. And once you can accept that, I think that's when you can move in a state of happiness all the time. Because I look forward to life advancing. I look forward to the next 3 years and 5 years and 7 years and 10 years. But when you in a state of fear, I don't want nothing to change. I want my mama to be right there and my daddy right there. And you want everything to stay the same. And really having and trust in God and faith in God is accepting the change and knowing it's for the better. And me knowing that myself, I got to give that to the world. Because right now we at a crazy, crazy spot with the presidency and just how much propaganda is being pushed to all citizens across the world. But really for children, their minds are very fragile. The soil is still moist at that point. You can plant anything in there and it'll grow. And I'm just trying to be a light in this dark world, because I really don't think the world is as dark as it seems. Like the sun doesn't come through the clouds just move out the way. And right now it's just a little cloudy. It had been cloudy for a minute, I get it, you know. But that's where that faith comes in. The dopest part about faith and fear is you can't see either one of them. But it's your choice on what you believe. So you can say that, oh, life is about to keep going downhill and it's going to keep getting worse and worse. Or you can have supreme faith that it'll get better. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week. But if God wants you to go through it, then are you willing to go through it? And if God is for you, then who could be against you? So that's how I can stay in a positive mindset. Because what's the worst that can happen? You leave Earth? Is that bad, right? Like that's where you got to really look at life. Is the worst that can happen is that you can leave this thing, but you can lose your car, you can lose your house, you can get it all back. And so if you have supreme confidence, I think Earl Nightingale said it. You could take a strong man and pick him up and drop him in the middle of nowhere. In 1 year, he'd be right back to what he got. And that's all of us. All of us are a lot stronger than what we've seen, but the TV can really mess with your confidence. I think our music is tuned to, is it 440 hertz? So the sound frequency, the way it come through, and with the bass and all that. So it's meant to put you in a what did Dr. Joe Dispenza say? He said our music and our food, it makes us either want to have sex, be violent, or consume. And if you look around what you see in society, that's really all you see on TV. A bunch of sexual content, a bunch of violence, or go buy this bag, go eat this fast food, try out this new restaurant. It's purposely done. So when you take that, and then you already know that the color red pops out for you and how your mind sees colors, man, you've been manipulated like crazy. And I just want to be that one person to say, hey, do you really want to do that? Because I honestly believe everyone wants happiness and everyone wants abundance, but it takes effort. And if I didn't have my children, I wouldn't be who I am. However, I know a lot of people in this world don't have somebody to be better for. But if I'm telling you to be better for yourself, or that you got the power to change the world, I keep saying we all need our personal hype man outside of not want anything from you. It's a bunch of ladies that can have a hype man, but they gon' want your body or something. It's a bunch of men that can have a lady that's hyping them up, but they may want some money or whatever. And being a child is being purely loved for who you are. And I love everyone in the world, people that I'll never, ever meet. I have no reason not to love you because God created me just like he created you. You know, there's a lot of controversy right now when Kanye said he loved Hitler and all that. But I look at life from a big picture. That doesn't God forgive everybody? And would that not include Hitler and Alexander the Great and Genghis Khan and the people who assassinated Malcolm X and Martin Luther King? And when you hold on to anger and resentment, nobody else knows that you have it but you. So you can stay mad or stay angry. You can hate somebody all you want, but that's just inside of your body and your mindset. And I want to be free. I want to move purely with love and peace. And I honestly think the masses of individuals in the world want to as well. We've never just been allowed to forgive, to let go. We still hear about slavery every damn day. We hear about racism and Jim Crow and segregation. And at what point do we move forward? My son last night was reading a Muhammad Ali book before he went to sleep, and it was talking about the segregation in the South. And I told him, I said, I don't want you reading this no more, because that was the past, but that's not your reality. And the future is bright for you, so I want you looking forward to what you can do and what you can become. I'm tired of keeping everybody looking in the rearview mirror. Imagine if you drove your car and all you did was look in your rearview. You're going to crash all the damn time. And then who you going to blame? The people behind you? But that's what society is doing to everyone right now. It just has you looking in your rearview mirror, and when you crash your car because you're not looking through this big old windshield that's in front of you, someone has to be responsible for this. Someone did this. And I'm just challenging everybody to stop looking backwards. The future is bright, and there's no limits to what you could do. And when I started studying Albert Einstein and learning, you know, he would have been considered remedial in today's society, it really was like, oh, man, we good. We Gucci. When I started listening to Earl Nightingale, when I read Napoleon Hill and learned about Andrew Carnegie, all these men who didn't come from wealth but all created great wealth, it changed my perspective. When I read the book Black Fortunes, that said after the Emancipation Proclamation there were 4,047 millionaires in America and 6 of them were black. Like, you mean to tell me there were black millionaires in the 1800s, and now you trying to say that everyone needs to depend on the government? It's just a lot of things that don't add up. I was listening to The Miseducation of the Negro yesterday, a great audiobook. Everyone needs to hear that book. Between The Miseducation of the Negro, the autobiography of Malcolm X, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Man, look here. There's so much knowledge in books. And I think that's why rap music is also pushed so much, because I don't think anyone wants to be ignorant in society. I could be wrong, but everyone wants to evolve. But for some reason, I can listen to an audiobook for, man, let's say, I'll repeat the same book. So I've listened to Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill probably 10 times. And I can remember bits and pieces of it, but you can listen to a rap song one time and that song stick inside your head. And that's how powerful that beat is. And that's how powerful ignorance can be as well. You know, you couple that with TikTok for the young children, and you've been obsessed with dumbing down yourself. Because I dumbed down myself for a while unconsciously. And I don't know. I question myself what made me evolve my thinking, what made me be tired of the life I was living, the drinking, the running around with the big rims on the car and 4 or 5 girls at a time. I question what made me want to give that lifestyle up. And I don't have an honest answer outside of it's not as cool as it seems and getting your car keyed and all that. But I don't know. I was trying to be, I think, what the world showed me that a man should be, and that, it wasn't a man. It was a destructive boy. I was breaking hearts and a lot of negativity. I can see what I do. Yeah, man, I think that's dope. You got a gift. I couldn't imagine. That's the best part about me. Like, I had a lot of kids at a young age, and you see a lot of men talk about divorce and child support and everything negative that comes with it. And this is why I say I believe in God. Because for a while, I judged my baby mamas and I was upset with the choices they made, but I just stopped caring. And I just became the best version of myself. And I started moving with pure love. And I raised all my kids. They live in my house. I've never paid $1 for a lawyer. I've never been to a custody visit. I didn't do anything at all. I got kids by 3 different women. And so to have three women say that man is that great, that we want our children to be with him, maybe I'm an anomaly. Or maybe just other men, when you go through a divorce or a breakup or whatever it is, man, become a superhuman. Become Goku. Because my children look at me and they see the most unreal person ever. And I tell every single one of them that they're going to be better than me. I pray with my children every night. Fatherhood is extremely important. No matter what type of man you are, your children need you. My father was an alcoholic, got off work every day and got drunk. Used to fist fight with my mama, and he used to stumble around the house and pee in random places when he was half asleep. But he still was my dad. I still remember riding on his shoulders to preschool when I was 3. I still remember walking to the store with him, or him coming home from work and bringing a candy bar or a WWE action figure. I didn't know I was poor until society told me I was poor. Because when you live in a homeless shelter as a kid, you don't care. It's like 50 of us, cuz we get to play every day. It's recess all the time. I didn't understand anything was wrong until the world started telling me you shouldn't be in that homeless shelter. Actually, like a week ago, I was riding past the halfway house with one of my friends, and he was like, yeah, you see that place right there? That's where all the junkies hang out at. And I said, yeah, my mama used to be there. I was there as a kid, and he looked at me and was shocked. But like, no, I understand what it's like to be at the bottom. All of my clothes when I was a kid came from a church or somebody's pantry that was giving stuff away. All our food was from the food pantry, so you should give out old stuff. You know what they always had at the food pantry? Raisins. If you got food for free, you know what I'm talking about, because they always had them little boxes of raisins, dog. And that probably was the best part, because everything else was pretty expired. But growing up through all of that hardship, man, having 2 parents is still key. I know people who grew up with millions of dollars, but they don't know their father, so they're still lost in this world a little bit. And society doesn't want you to have a strong family at all. And it's unfortunate, because if you don't know half, I couldn't imagine not knowing half of who I am. It'd be really, really hard to fully accept myself and love myself. But I've always said, man, the key to really being happy in this world, just to move in a pure state of gratitude, is forgiving your parents for whatever they did. My daddy wrecked my first car when I was 16. I had a Cutlass Sierra 1985, and he totaled it out. He was drunk driving. I could still be mad at him, but whatever. It's my daddy. You know, when I turned 18, I probably had 20 different bills in my name from my mama. Could have judged her, could have been upset with her, but that was my mama. You know, people in ignorance only do what they know in that time. And when you judge somebody, you are attracting those same things into your life. Like, I spent a lot of time resenting my father for his lifestyle, and then I had 4 kids by 2 different women, just like he did. But when I went and forgave him, everything in my life got better. The relationship between me and him got better. And I realized I always had a good father, that I was lucky. But how many people can say that they hold resentment towards somebody without ever asking their side of the story or the situation? Like, when I went to my dad, he was like, man, why you drink so much? Why you do the things you do? When I got to hear about his childhood and what he went through, I was like, holy, my life a little better than yours, bro. Yeah, I mean, that's wild. You know, my daddy has told me time and time again, if it wasn't for me, he for sure would have left my mama. My mama said that too, though. The only reason she stayed with my dad is because she knew if she left him, she would have had to let me go because I was so close to him. So I was the glue that kept mama and daddy together. And I've often asked my father that if he could have went back and just left and lived his life, not following my mama, not being in and out of jail and all that stuff, would he want to do it? And he said, no, watching me grow was dope. What's up, bro? Hey, we got to hop on that live soon, man. I don't know when. I know you getting your studio set up, but I'm looking forward to the conversation, bro. I think you probably got some interesting perspective. I'm getting back on my game and stuff. My kids are getting a little older, so and I know you do the game, so we got to get in touch for sure, for sure, for sure. I got a kid to train at 11 a.m. in basketball, so I'm gonna be dipping out then. But I really want everybody to have a super mega awesome day. What's up, Sherry? How you living? Yeah, man. This is the dopest part about the society is, yeah, the world is negative, but look what we got going on here. We all positive. I'm sure everybody got something that's in their life, they goal they're working on. Everybody got something they can say that they're grateful for. And gratitude attracts more gratitude. I know you've been busy, dog. I see you shining. Yeah, man. This is lit. Because imagine, like, I don't have notifications on my phone. Like, when I say I'm really like living a bubble, I am so disconnected from the world. I don't even know what go on. I don't know what exists. I'm just Johnny. And when I hear stuff, I'm like, damn, that's real. Or my wife like, did you know? I'm like, nah, I didn't know anything about that. When I was a kid, I didn't understand how people would say they didn't watch the news or they wasn't involved with it. And now it's so angry. Like I remember waking up watching CNN every morning and my mood would be altered. I remember going to work the day that Trump won the president. And I was like, this is weird. And it seemed like since, because 2008, I don't remember the media having that effect over the mass of the population. I don't even remember in 2012 that the masses of people were influenced by politics now. Maybe cell phones and social media play a role in that with the evolution of that and more people having a cell phone now. Because my 2007, I graduated high school and Facebook was slowly just popping off. But since 2016, it seemed like the world has just had a cloud over it and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And I'm looking around like, what's going on? Y'all really care about the news that much? Y'all really care about politics that much? I don't get it. I never heard my daddy talk about politics one time my whole life. I never heard my grandpa talk about politics one time my whole life. They said, whatever you want, you can go out here and get. You a man. So to see how much the young men nowadays are, I'm sad, I don't believe in myself. It's like, bro, y'all need to go back outside and play. Kids don't break their arm no more. They don't swing on the monkey bars, jump off the jungle gym. You can't pay a kid to play basketball outside on concrete. Just our society has gotten too comfortable. But that's where men come in. It's time for us to step up. And I say that the lights is on, the time to shine. All men and uncles, get the kids outside, off the phones. Women, get your kids back with coloring books and stuff. Your politics super divides people. And maybe that's why I didn't hear about it a lot. Like, I don't know what white families are like. Y'all can let me know in the comments. But I've always said, man, black people don't care about politics like that. I haven't lost not one friend, one family member. Everybody that I grew up with, I'm still cool with. It's never been a big deal no matter what I say. I could walk around with a red hat on. I don't understand the anger and the negativity of letting something on TV divide people. When I was a kid, my daddy used to always say, don't listen to nobody on TV because they don't pay no bills in this house. And that has stuck with me ever since. So it's unfortunate that families can be divided over something so small because, like I said, my mom and daddy had domestic violence and they could be fighting super bad. And the next morning, everything was normal. Daddy was in the kitchen cooking breakfast for mama and they was in the front room and he was doing her perm. It was wild, dog. Wow, lost family and friends. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. That just all my people cool. When I first start coming at them with politics, they was like, "Boy, what you talking about?" But I'm a reader, so if you say I'm not making sense, then go read Booker T. Washington, go read Frederick Douglass, go read The Negro Problem. It's so much out there. Manning Johnson, Color Communism and Common Sense. When I was digged into knowledge, I was kind of bamboozled by what I didn't know. But then I had to remember, the generation before us, they couldn't even read. So who in the 1960s was trying to really enlighten themselves and figure out what was going on? So that's why it's up for us, our generation, the millennials, because we grew up without the internet and then we transitioned into the internet. So we know what it's like to sit down and read a paper book. But these kids growing up now, everything they see is digital. So they don't know what's real and what's not. And so this is the time to really make that switch on not being a kid, because I'm still a child myself. But I understand that a man has to do what a man has to do, and the world is missing strong men, and not men who need to lead with money or dominance, but really just being a spiritual, soulful person. I think it said 80% of people don't believe in God right now in the world, and that's wild. Because when you don't believe in something higher than you don't value yourself. And I just do all my research of how you steal a nation and how you conquer. Like Napoleon said, you can never steal a nation that's at peace. And everything that's happening right now is to distract and divide so somebody else can come over and take over America. But they're trying to figure out who. And how long does this last? How long do they sit and watch the chaos go on before they say, now it's time to strike? And then another thing I say is, did America really win World War II? Because if I grew up in China and I went to school for 12 years, I would love China. If I went to school in Russia, I would love Russia. But for some reason, you go to the best elementary, middle school, and high school in America, and you come out hating America. It just doesn't add up. And it's a question that no one ever stops to ask. They just say, oh, we're gonna push critical race theory into school. And then I say, well, critical race theory teach me about Thomas Sowell. Like, you can't teach about Barack Obama and not teach about Thomas Sowell. That's like teaching about Biggie without Tupac. You need balance, because there's never been just this one black voice, this one black thought process. But for some reason, society wants that. But Kanye said that. He said celebrities can't really say what their real opinion are. Because do you know how long these little rappers and basketball play? Like, I play basketball. You got to bust your ass off to get to the NBA. Every one of them should be telling a story of how you can do it too. Like, LeBron James should be the most motivational, uplifting, inspiring human in the world. I should never hear LeBron complain about anything. He should say, I grew up with a single mama in the projects of Akron, Ohio, and I made it to be the best player in the NBA, the all-time scoring leader. If I can do it, no matter what odds are against you, you can do it too. That's what all kids should hear. But when the stars are telling me it's hard being black, why the hell would I even step out of my little bubble where I'm at and try to become better? Now, a God gave me wisdom. That's what happens when you make a lot of mistakes at a young age. Having children will make you wise. Breaking a lot of hearts with women will make you wise. But death will make you wise. From the age of probably 3 to 12, I went to a funeral probably, if not every weekend, every other weekend, whether it was one of my cousins or uncle. So I just looked at a lot of bodies in caskets at a young age. And I remember they making me standing up front and sing Puff Daddy, I'll Be Missing You. That's my cousin Reggie. Rest in peace, Reg. And then I got older, probably 14, and I started losing friends. Like, I remember going to school writing RIP on the locker. My friend Jaquan Norton, I was in the hallway with him on a Tuesday, and that Wednesday he got shot in the head. And from then it was just like a domino effect of losing friends. And so the way the society views, like when I get mean comments or people say stuff about me, it's like, oh, that's cool, because life is real, and you have to value this, and you have to speak your truth. And I don't even say your truth, because there's only one truth. Your perception of things isn't always true, and I've had to learn that about myself. I don't know everything. Even with the wisdom that I have now, I know in 5 years from now, I'll look back at myself and say, damn, Johnny, you was ignorant. And once I learned ignorant is the definition of that is just lack of knowledge. All of us are ignorant in some area. But no man is your friend, no man is your enemy, but every man is your teacher. And I'm stepping out and using the world as they teaching me stuff. I'm learning stuff from everybody who's watching the videos and leaving comments. Y'all know so much about life that I don't. I'm just a kid who grew up in Kansas City, was in a homeless shelter. And now I'm like, oh, you really can just step out and touch the whole world. Yeah, when I was around death at a young age, uh, it's hard, but it becomes so normal that you get numb to it. I guess that's the best way to put it. When I was 16, the neighborhood drug dealer, his name was Nate. He got shot on our front porch, and my daddy opened the door, and his bloody body fell into our front room and all that. And just all those things. Looking back now, it's like, man, the average person would not believe that this is real. That's dope. Yeah, man. Watching I wish I could get that man a hug because I know his thought process and his adrenaline going in to get his daughter. I had to be something crazy. I never believed that I could die for somebody until I had children. But man, I give every and anything for my children to never see them go through a hardship or a bad. And that's because that's the thing. Like being a parent, you know your kids are gonna have to suffer because suffering is a part of life. It's a part of growth, and all you can do is prepare them for it. But man, it's being a father is a beautiful, ugly thing because they have to face the hardships of the world. Yeah, man, I can truthfully say I have over 50 friends that have been murdered, and I have another 50 friends that are in jail right now for some type of violent crime. Like not exaggerating at all. I just grew up in an environment to where when you don't value yourself, you don't value the people around you. None of the friends that I have that are murderers are bad people. They all are soft, lighthearted, tell jokes, funny guys. But when you don't have anything to live for, you go into fight or flight mode. And when you're consuming a lot of negative content, it seeps into your subconscious mind. That seed is planted, and all it takes is the opportunity for it to sprout out. Hey, I love you guys. Like I couldn't even imagine being in that situation. House on fire. Got to go in and get my children. Um, I totaled out my car in 2012. And the first thing I did was pop my head up and turn around and look at my daughter's car seat in the back. She wasn't in the car with me, but it was just a natural instinct to, is my baby okay? Is my baby okay? And I know we live in a society where a lot of people don't want children right now, but as a young man at the age of 20, I don't think anything could have matured me the way becoming a father did. I would have still been a child, but getting up and making infant bottles at 3 a.m. would change you. Figuring out what's the best brand of diapers to buy would change you. I remember I used to be hype about the Jordans came out every Saturday, and then I switched over to when Huggies came out with the little jean diapers and stuff. Yeah, and it's weird to say God makes no mistakes, but I've had learned to believe that. When my mom overdosed, I went to her apartment and some man walked up to me. He said, "I know that this may not make sense, but maybe God called your mama home so you can get closer to him." And I wanted to punch that man in the face. But if I can go back and find that man right now, I give him a hug because he was correct. I didn't have this relationship with God before when my mom was alive. And I can't speak for all men, but a lot of black boys, we mama's boys. And because we mama's boys and we look at mama as God, we don't even try to go directly to God. We definitely don't try to have a spiritual connection. Because mama is the backbone of everything. Mama is this, mama is that. And I had to disconnect from that mindset. That's a weak victimhood mindset that won't do you any good long term. I actually used to have mama's boy tattooed on my hand on the side. And I got it removed and got a broken clock. And I got nothing's forever because nothing is forever. And if you don't evolve, you'll stay stuck in the same place and you'll eventually die. Grow or die, create or disintegrate. And I had to accept that with my mother leaving Earth, it was now time for me to grow into a man and display the way that she raised me. As much as I was drinking lean and consuming rap music and all that, and my mama didn't want me to be that way. She didn't stop me, which I wish she would have, tried to be a little more motherly, but she was trying to figure out this thing called life. She was a young lady. And she always said it was two things. That I could keep you away from the streets or I can keep you away from the girls. She said, I couldn't keep you away from the girls. You was too cute, but I definitely kept you away from the streets. And you learn your lesson with the girls on your own, which I definitely did. So Just every day I wake up in a state of gratitude. Every day I pray. I talk to God more now than I ever have in my entire life. And it's a beautiful thing because we all know what it's like to walk around in this world confused. But when you always can sit and just talk to your source, I can't say what it is, but it just makes me so much of a happier person. No matter what, even when on the basketball court, I be on the basketball court and I just say, God, thank you for letting me play this game I love. Thank you for this experience. Thank you for what I'm experiencing right now. Because everything is beautiful, no matter what it seems, no matter what you're going through. Like we all can sit here right now and think of a scenario that was bad originally, but it gave us one of the greatest lessons or the greatest blessings in our life. You know, the finite can't tell the infinite what to do. Yet we want to have so much control over life, but what's meant to be will be. So just sit back and enjoy the ride. Yeah, man, losing your mama definitely. I was a mama's boy. My mama was my God. My mama was my everything. So when she died, that definitely it paired up. My mom was my babysitter outside of that. So every weekend I was dropping my kids off to her house so I can go be reckless. But man, I always wonder, like I don't have a concept of death to where like I would love to have a conversation with my mom again. I think a lot, like, will I ever hear her voice again? Will I ever talk to her again? But then the flip side of that, as I look at all my children, I say, damn, one day they won't have me or I won't have them. I don't know what'll come first, but one day there will be a last conversation with my children, a last conversation with my father, a last conversation with my wife. And accepting that has made me a person I didn't know I could be. Because there's no way I could leave anything on bad terms because I never know when it's going to end. Even with this YouTube stuff, I don't know when. We was watching Kevin Samuels one day and the next day that man was gone. I remember watching wrestling as a kid and Owen Hart was just trying to wrestle and he died in Kansas City at Kemper Arena doing a stunt. Life really ends in the blink of an eye. So I just walk around in a state of gratitude and I stay connected with God because you never know when he's going to say, come chill with me. And I challenge everybody, no matter what you're going through in life, no matter how ugly the news look or politics look or gas prices or the price of eggs or meat or turkey bacon, don't let that break your spirit because this too shall pass. The Great Depression didn't last forever. The housing recession didn't last forever. And money is nothing but energy. Where attention goes, energy flows. So focus on abundance, focus on the beautiful things in life. And before you know, the beautiful things will be pulling up to your front door. I promise you, I'm a living witness of it. But I do got to go up here and eat breakfast before I finish this basketball session. I appreciate everybody for rocking with y'all. I'm going to try to do this a little more, going live just to touch base with everybody to know you guys are loved, you're special, you're beautiful. You all have a great gift inside of you. And once you give that gift to the world, God will bless you in ways that you never, ever imagined. So go forward and spread this positive energy with somebody else around you. Give somebody a hug. Call your best friend from high school and say how they going. Just let's spread love and let's spread energy and let's get all the negativity out of society. We outie. Peace.